A Swiss person.
Swiss.
Welcome to Life is Good, and I hope you enjoyed that yodeling. We really appreciate Brian McRae's recommendation for that, because when I went looking for music that would indicate snow was in the air, all I got were snowstorms that didn't really play well in this house at all. And so Brian suggested I get a yodeler, and I mean, who can not be happy when they're listening to yodeling? Can you yodel?
Not very well.
Give us a shot.
No.
Anyway, so welcome to Life is Good. Tonight we're only having one guest, but what a spectacular guest. It's Louise Whipple, businesswoman, athlete, person who's inspired me since I've known her, because you've gone through some stuff that you've battled through and come out shining. And they've just built their own beautiful home with the best view in the state. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they did it all together, you know. Every time you looked on Facebook, they were stripping another log. And I stayed down here and didn't volunteer at all. So we're going to talk about Memphremagog trails. If you haven't already heard about them, you're going to hear about them on the show. There you go, Louise. Talk about Memphremagog trails. I don't know as much about them as you do, that's for sure.
Well, we are the local outdoor recreation club, and we've got trails, like backyard trails here. Started, I don't know how many years ago in Holland. Dr. Bob Tremblay and Dr. Peter Harris started it, and it was in Peter Harris's yard. Our kids, I remember bringing our kids there to ski, and then they moved when Bob Primo moved here, and Bob Primo has about 100 acres here, so a big chunk of the trails are down here, and they connect to the bike path.
Yes, they do.
So we've got over 200 members. There was a big jump in mountain biking.
Oh, was there?
So we weren't offering, we're offering very little of that, but now that has grown substantially.
Well, every time I'm on the bike path, someone's coming out of the woods with big tires like this.
So those are fat tire, that's for winter riding.
Yes.
Yes, so we've introduced that a couple of years ago. We bought a groomer. It's called the Snow Dog. So we have a couple guys, 3 or 4 guys that run that.
Oh, they're volunteers?
They're volunteers. Our club is like 99% volunteers.
Okay. Now, let's tell you where this is. In case you watch this and you say, gee, I'd like to go cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, or if you have a fat wheel bike and don't know where to ride it. The BB Spur bike path, just past the hospital, North Country Hospital, and it ends at North Derby Road.
Yes.
It's 3.5 miles of walking path in the summer, biking path in the summer, and in the winter and summer, I imagine, all the trails lead off that to the right. There's the lake on this side, and in the wood side, millions of these little trails. They're gorgeous, all seasons gorgeous, and very well taken care of. How many miles of trails are there, do you know?
Well, so in the wintertime, there's 28 miles of groomed ski and snowshoe trails. And so that includes the Primo parking, which is on Darling Hill Road. That's where the majority of trails are. We have some on the bluffs, which is the Scott Farm.
Right beside my house, Scott Farm.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful trails. I did not know you were associated with that until I was told yesterday.
Oh, no.
When I was doing a little research.
Okay.
I thought they just naturally groomed themselves. I had no idea they were professionally groomed.
We do. And then there's another location, the Land Lab, North Country High School Land Lab, which is up on the Quarry Road behind McDonald's. So you can start from there, you can go to the top of the world, you can actually connect and ski all the way down to this parking lot.
I've heard that it connects,
Yes.
and I have not attempted that.
That's a blast, but the conditions have to be good because it's mostly downhill. So
That's why you won't see me there.
It's not icy, and
I spent 25 years falling off the T-bar. I'm not going to do anything downhill. I'm terrible. I get injured every time I go downhill. But I've seen all the other cross-country ski people have the right equipment and the right posture and everything else they need. So I've seen a lot of really good skiers out there. But I've seen skiers like me, too, on the bike path. I mean, I can go all day, but I've got no goals or aspirations to be
so
coordinated.
We do offer lessons, adult lessons.
Oh, you do?
Bob Primo is going to be doing that Tuesday nights, 4 o'clock basic lessons.
Really?
So if you want to improve your skills, and then at 5 o'clock he's doing like a speed if you want to more of a workout.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
How much would they cost for the audience?
So that I'm not sure. I believe you would have to be a member.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's $50 for a winter membership.
Yep.
And then rentals would be $40 if you need skis and boots, poles, it's all one package, so you have it for the season.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, so we have quite a bit of equipment. So for kids, you know, it's great for families. I mean, a family winter membership is $150. Your kids can partake. We have the Bill Koch ski program.
Who's Bill Koch?
He founded this. I'm not really sure. Did not look him up, but
That's okay.
It's called Bill Koch. So it's throughout. Different organizations have this program.
Okay.
It's for kids to learn to ski.
Oh, very nice.
So that's Tuesdays from 3:45 to 5, and actually that's going to be Tuesday and Thursdays this year.
And who's teaching that?
Those are volunteer parents.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
So 200 members, and that's a family would be considered one member. So you might have more people in that. And yet you never see any crowds out there.
No, it's
It's just beautifully laid out.
It is, and we bought a piston bully groomer, which is like what Crossberry has. So it sets the tracks. We bought another machine that follows a snowmobile that sets tracks. We have something else that drags the snow. So yeah. So
How long does it take to groom 28 miles? If you have 3 people doing it, but you've
well,
only got
they
how many
don't
machines
do
do you
so.
have?
Just for an example, the 2 guys are in charge of the bluffs. So he will go and spend an hour and a half grooming. He'll send me a text, and then I'll post that it's freshly groomed at the bluffs. So the best ski conditions are what's freshly groomed. We call it corduroy snow. So it's just best conditions. So.
Best condition. Well, we had some of those last year for sure.
Oh, we had a lot of days last year.
Yeah.
So, and we've already had some good skiing for, I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I haven't been out at all this year. Crazy busy before Christmas, and now I've stacked my wood in front of my ski box. But I'll have to burn that, and then I'll get my skis out. But I'm anticipating quite a bit of snow starting in a couple of weeks. If the national weather is correct, then you'll see us out there, and I've got to join. I haven't joined yet, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. I've just found out now how, which is I'm going to give a check to Louise. Okay?
Thank you.
And it's Memphremagog Trails Association.
Yeah, and from McKeown Trails, you can go right on our website.
Oh, website, please tell us that.
nstf.net. You can do.
I don't know whether you can. We'll just
Just
come to my house and pick one up, everybody.
Zoom right in on that.
We have these in the
It's going to be zoomed in on.
We have these in the kiosk in the parking area. So this is a map. But our website, if you want to join directly on our website, you can join the ski program. You have to make an appointment to be fitted for skis. There are dates that are also listed on this website.
Right. And if you have any skis you'd like to donate, that would be wonderful.
That would be great.
There are also other activities, and how I met you was the snow sculpting contest 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
And that was so much fun. And here I meet this little Louise person, she's all over the place, and I said, I just don't know where to park. And you said, well, don't you know where such and such is? Where is it? Because I had no sense of direction. I had to be pretty much guided there foot by foot. So go ahead, tell us where everything is.
It's on Darling Hill Road. I don't have the.
It's on your website, right?
Yeah, it's on the website. So go past Shattuck Hill, Darling Hill Road. There's a big sign that says Memphremagog Trails.
Okay.
So the parking area is there.
And it's on the lake side of the road.
It's on the lake side is the parking. We also have trails on the right side.
Now you're mixing me up. No kidding.
So, but you park down in the field there. There's a parking area, and then you can pick up a map. There's great beginner and intermediate trails all in the woods there. One of my favorites, and I'll share the way to ski it, is if you do swamp and you do it clockwise, if you're comfortable with downhills, that's a really sweet way to ski it. If you want more of a workout, then you would do it counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise would work for me.
But a lot of the trails on the inside, I find, are equally as nice. They're not used as much. And so, again, if you're looking for that sweet spot, better ski conditions, because everybody goes on swamp, so it gets skied off fast. So if you go on the inside, you have, I'm always looking for like good snow coverage and, you know, keep it fun, not skied off, because then it gets icy, a little bit trickier.
Yeah, that would be very
Yeah.
tricky
Yeah.
for me. And not for anybody else in my family. I seem to be born the only one who's a bit of a spaz when anything but water. I like water skiing because you have soft landings every time. No matter how fast you're going, yeah, I've broken a few ribs water skiing, so maybe they're not all soft landings, but I didn't have the fear that I have with downhill. But cross country, to me, has always been one of my very favorite things to do. And finding this place is fantastic.
It's been great.
Unbelievable. Now, we were going to talk about another thing. I know that your organization is extremely thankful to everybody who has trail going through their property.
Yes.
And your some of the ideas that were floated by me yesterday when I was doing some preliminary interviews were, how about some of the art forms or statues or something that would make it an elegant thing to look at from the landowner's point of view, so they wouldn't just be looking at a trail, and it would mark their property as something glorious and give them a little extra bonus, but also be something of a landmark for the skiers to know where they were, and maybe something more about our history or what the art we do around here. And that was floated by me yesterday by one of your board members, I believe, so I don't know when you're planning to do that, but if you're an artist out there and you're a sculptor of any kind, please contact the Men for Magog Trails, and you know, if you do those wonderful things with your chainsaw or anything with stone or wood of any kind, wouldn't you love to put your work identified on somebody's property, and everybody who skis by it or bicycles by it or hikes by it, it wouldn't do your business any harm, but it would also be something that you can do because you don't own land to give, so we have to give something. All of us have to give something. So
I think that's a great idea. The visual arts department at the high school
Oh,
already
they're-
made some things in the trails, and we've posted pictures.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Because that's April?
Yes.
Yeah. She was on my show last time
Okay.
with her son Jacob.
So anyway, we're very thankful, and it's, you know, it's just, you notice it, it's like, wow. So, and then we had the little gnomes last year. There was always all these little gnomes throughout the trails.
Is that
Am I saying
right?
that right? Little
Yeah.
gnomes.
Be it ever so humble.
They were
there's no
in
place
the
like Nome.
competition, remember?
Yes!
They were right next to us.
They won the competition,
Yeah.
and they should have.
Yeah.
And
I just can't remember their names. Who were doing
it'll
those.
come to me when we
Anyway,
finish taping.
so that, you know, kids love that. Kids love finding, you know, they're skiing along or snowshoeing, and then all of a sudden in the trees they see the art form and they get all excited. And then
Sure.
with those, they were putting them somewhere else so someone else would find it. So instead of
Oh, what a
keeping
great
them,
idea.
they were just relocating them.
Oh, I would
So-
love to. I'd like to go through and find some of those.
Yeah.
That's always magic.
It
I
is.
always find magic in the woods all the time, and I have no worries about going into the woods by myself because I just love it. Now, there were some other things I wanted to talk about here. Trail maintenance, benefits of joining, where to park, equipment rental, volunteers. Do you need more volunteers?
We always need more volunteers.
Hear that, everybody? If you don't want to be a sculptor or an artist, or
Especially the younger generation. Like, I hate to say this, but I'm now in the older generation. So
that makes me dead.
no, but we've, you know, that's a topic of conversation that has
Okay.
come up at our board meetings.
What are you looking for?
Just people to help with trails if we're building a bridge, or, you know, doing stonework with drainage. So
Oh.
keeping the trails maintained is because we're all volunteer.
So most of the volunteering is done in the summer for the trail maintenance?
Spring is a big time. Fall, you know, like we just had a big blow down tree, so Mike Kaiser, Herb Maru, they're huge volunteers, and they run the Snow Dog for Fat Tire Biking, but they're always out there doing stuff on the trails. So
Now, Mike Kaiser, I do know because he's always running. Is he running on the bike trail
no,
during the summer?
no, he's a cyclist. He's a mountain biker,
I
Fat
know
Tire biker.
I know I've spoken with him after I
He's
saw
on
the
our
name.
board.
Well, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
And he does a lot of the tree cutting when the trees fall down on the bike path too, does he not?
On the bike path, I don't know, but I know on our
Seems
trails.
to me he's associated with doing stuff and lots
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, he's always out there volunteering. And like I was snowshoeing on Man Up, Man Down, that's a new trail this year. and I noticed 2 trees that were down. So I sent him a message, and I cleaned up all the little stuff, but the where you need a chainsaw is where they call in the big dogs.
So if you have a chainsaw and you want to get to work, folks, Memphis Magog Trail Association needs you. And what a positive thing. And if you're doing this kind of thing, if you have to be a senior in school this year and you need community service, what better?
That would be great.
That would be great. So if you want to pass your senior year, you contact the organization. What did I have to do to pass? I wouldn't even tell you. Anyway, we have a little business to take care of here. I wanted to promote one thing today, and this happens to be Mike McCray, our cameraman and the president of the Northeast Kingdom Television, who volunteers for me all the time to do this show because I couldn't do it without him because I'm not a techie. He illustrated this now nationally known book, and he's a local person who's done this wonderful art, and it's a true story about from rags to riches little horsey, a horse that was being used as a plow horse and was noticed to have potential and was purchased in what country? Czechoslovakia?
Yeah, in the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic,
Yeah.
and brought over here
To the United States.
to the United States.
Only after he'd won the European Championship.
Unbelievable. He won the European Championship, did not test positive for steroids, did it on his own with some great little trainer, this young lady. And now resides here in the United States. And this is a great book. It's called The Potato Horse Who Became a Star. And if you go on Amazon, please check it out. It's by Samuel Yoder, who is a veterinarian, and the best friend of Brian McCray, who is an illustrator. And I highly recommend you do this, especially if you have little girls and boys in your life who love horses. This will tell them how to do it. And you'll enjoy it very much. So
Fun story.
thank you for that, Brian McCray, who is also going to split up the show a little bit because he's going to sing a Gaelic ditty. And he does this to break up every show so that we can get our thoughts together and enjoy a little bit of Scottish music.
There you go.
So, Brian, take it away.
Yeah, so anyway, you were talking about Bill Koch earlier. He
Yeah.
was I think he was the first American to win a medal at the Olympics. I think it was in '76. He was a silver medalist, but he's got his own line of, ski wear and all that kind of stuff. So he's quite the guy, in cross-country skiing circles. So anyway, up to this point, I've been singing these pushtaboils or mouth music songs. And today I thought I'd sing, it's called a walking song. Women used to sing this type of song when they're walking tweed, or they're treating tweed after it's been woven to soften up the fabric. And this is a type of song where they would each take turns making up a verse. So in this one they talk about a ship that they see off the coast, and each one has to imagine something that's on the boat or where it is or some features of it. Oh, I'm being attacked by a pair of skis here. So anyway, goes something like this. Ishkiala nam bratek panya, ishkiala nam bratek panya, ishkiala nam bratek panya, kunami do long et sala, 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 vastjuror sta kranarget, vastjuror sta kranarget. So each one of these things, they're describing parts of the boat or something. Then they might go on and say, well, there's red silk from Spain. Shirarawa rud na Spania, Shirarawa rud na Spania, Shirarawa rud na Spania. Caban an Glasgow iba, it wasn't Glasgow. Caban an Glasgow iba, Caban an Glasgow iba, Caban an Glasgow iba, nundun tulum nam bratak banya. So anyway, that's a walking song.
Well, it's a very nice walking song, and it's good to sing and do things when you're moving.
It is.
It gives you a rhythm.
All right, let me
thank
give you your
Brian
chair
McCray.
back.
Thank you. Well, you handled it very well. Let me try and get my way back into it. That's a halftime show, folks, and we'll talk about secondhand bookstore
Yeah.
at the next break. So, back to you. This is a laid-back show. Usually we have 3 guests, but I'm really glad to have Louise tonight. Thanks. And would you like to talk to me a little bit about your skiing problem last couple of years, or no?
Oh, I can share a little bit.
Because I think when I met you, watching somebody overcome an injury is a great trip into your character. And I have never, and I've seen injuries all my life because that's what I work with, but when I saw Louise, she didn't come to me saying, I'm injured. She came to me saying, I'm getting better. And she inspired me, so off you go.
I was having a great time at J Peak skiing, and my last run of the day, I took one. I was going to get done, and said no, I'm going to go one more time. And I was on the upper milk run, and my ski pole. I put my ski pole in the snow, and it got stuck there, so it jerked my head back, and my upper. My jaw, upper teeth,
mandible.
Yeah, landed here and then here, so double hit. So I didn't know I had. I fell down 2 more times. I was with a stranger skiing, and I couldn't get my balance. So he helped me get all the way down to the base. The next day, I lost my balance again at work. So anyway, long story short, COVID hit. I was trying to get better. Like I had this double thing going on. Everybody was wound up with COVID, and then I was like, okay, I just want to heal. So it was a really tough, challenging time, and I've had a couple setbacks. So I'm not 100%. So
How have you changed?
how have I changed? Trying to be more laid back. I find my nervous system is still wired like I've been playing pickleball because we have no snow right now. So I'm finding that even after pickleball, like I'm getting more nerve sensitivity. So I'm just trying to figure out. It's kind of a game where I'm trying to figure out what's causing. But I don't want to give up things that I enjoy doing.
And you shouldn't.
So I did downhill ski already this year. I went 5 runs, and then I started getting a headache. Last year I was able to ski with my bike helmet. I did go with my regular helmet.
Was it too heavy?
No, it's the compression.
Yeah. I couldn't wear a winter hat. Only these earmuffs. We've both had head injuries, but mine was I can wear the ear things around here. And last year, I put on a handmade toque, and big wide holes in it, and it was the first time I could wear a hat in like 20 years.
So I have one of those. My friend picks on me. I have a hole in that hat now. And she goes, I think you need a new hat, Louise. So I did. I bought a beautiful hat in Coventry. It was an alpaca hat.
Ooh!
But I wore it, and then it was it had a tight band.
Couldn't
so
do
I was
it,
like, I can't wear that tight band, so I'm not ready for that hat.
Yeah, you see that I don't wear a helmet on a bike.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reason for that, and people get mad. You don't know where I've been, and you don't know what's happened to me, so please don't judge me.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know why you're eating bacon, so there. I don't eat bacon, but I don't wear a helmet.
But it feels good to be out, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Oh.
It feels great to just be doing stuff. And
But you really came back quickly. I've known a lot of people with such injuries who, first of all, you self-isolate.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how to get back out there, and you never isolated. You just went, well, I wonder what this is. What am I going to do today? And who am I going to inspire today? You probably didn't wake up saying those things, but every time we talked. Yeah. And then you ended up helping me because I've got no sense of direction. So we had to take a ride together, and Louise said, I'll drive it. I wonder why. And so you drove, and then we had quite an adventure that day.
It was fun.
That was such a fun day.
It was fun.
But thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So around here, if you find that you are a little bit injured, please think of Louise Whipple because she's come a long way, baby, in a very short time.
I don't want. I'm good.
I know.
I don't want.
But I'm proud of you, and it's a real inspiration. So now we can go back to talking about the trails. I just had to get a little personal there because some people should be talked about in a very positive way because they teach you how much you can go do if something happens. Okie dokie. What are we going to talk about now? We've talked about the website, we've talked about the 28 miles of trails, we've talked about you need a volunteer, the high school and the art, and just about, let's just do a snow dance and get some snow
So,
rolling.
you know what I would love more than anything? I would, like now we have some students from different schools, but I would love parents to make an effort to get their kids on cross-country skis. Cross-country skiing and snowshoeing are lifetime sports.
Yep.
And,
Affordable.
you know, affordable. You don't have to wait in line. If it's really cold, you can go out for 45 minutes and then go in. You know, like it's, that's one, and you can go out your backyard, there's a lot of different locations that you can go. But I love seeing kids out there, I love seeing families out there.
The school has a team.
The schools, they don't have a team, they
I
have,
saw Nordic young people out
oh,
there.
so that would be the high school.
High school, yeah.
I don't know if the junior high does or not.
Do the elementary schools bring a busload of children on a Friday or something like that?
I don't think it's bus, I think parents,
Parents have to do it.
yeah, they used to have a bus from Derby Elementary that dropped them off, I believe.
Okay.
But now it's parents that pick them up
Mm-hmm.
and bring them over.
Well, by God, I love that because I get too cold on a hill. Children get too cold on a hill,
Yeah.
and my son nearly died on JP.
Yeah, and it's
You
a
know?
totally different skill set than downhill skiing.
Yeah.
You know, I have some friends at downhill that have a very difficult time cross-country skiing. A totally different skill set. So, and there's classic skiing, there's skate skiing, so there's different.
I know, and it works every single part of your body.
Yeah.
Besides rowing, I'm a rower, but besides rowing, Nordic gives me the best workout. It's the upper body, it's the lower body, it's the stretching. It's everything. And at the end of 2 or 3 hours, you come home and you feel so good. And it's cost nothing. Except, you know, a $50 membership a year is nothing.
Right.
I have an Airbnb here, and some people tell me it's over $100, $150 or something like that to ski at certain mountains for one day.
Yeah, it's downhill is definitely it's expensive. I mean, it's fun,
It's
but you know, if you have a family of 4, you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. And when I started my children doing that, neither one of them liked it because they were downhill and snowboarders, and they would be taken every Friday by the school to Jay Peak, and then they started teaching there. So I understood that it was really hard to leave their friends to go cross country with mom. But I got them their skis secondhand at a swap. So I think the whole outfit for my 2 kids and me for that particular time, and I'm still using those skis, I think the whole thing cost me $65 for 3 sets of skis and poles. And the boots, they were all secondhand too. But nothing, I think the whole thing, for the whole thing was just around $100.
Wow.
And I mean, I was in pretty bad shape financially back then, but we could do that. And I still have all their equipment and everything like that, and they still look at it and say, well, maybe when we're old, Mom. But the other kids who I did it with at Hazen's Notch, once they started it, and if they had no alternative, they would never go to downhill because they loved being out in the woods.
Yeah, it's peaceful.
And it's peaceful, and they love to,
Yeah.
they look for deer sign and moose rubbings and everything else that they like to do when they're hunting. And it's just the greatest way to get to know nature, and doing it at your own speed without the impact of possible injury or freezing when you wait in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm so glad I live close to these trails. I can't wait till we get some snow.
I know it's coming.
I know. What have you heard for the winter?
Not for what?
What have you heard for the upcoming future?
I haven't heard that we're getting snow next week. I just looked at the weather tonight.
I heard 2 weeks is gonna come, but I have friends in Buffalo. They'd like to give me some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
How's your new house?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Right on the trails.
I know. Talk about. Are you gonna Airbnb it?
No, I don't think so.
No. Well, if you do, it's good to do that. It's,
Yeah.
they sure will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking I'll go rent a room one night. Okay, one more ad we have to do here. It's not really an ad, it's a promotion for Nevermore Bookstore. Larry over at Nevermore on East Main has secondhand books, third-hand books, 10th-hand books, but they're all in good shape, and he knows where everyone is. And if you walk in there, it's like walking into a library. You can sit in a comfortable chair and read books, and he can tell you where everyone is on every shelf. Plus, he needs the business. It's really hard to start a business here in Newport. He's been here for 7 years, and you've got to keep him going because where else would you? Well, the books are fantastic. Collector's items all the way down to what you like to read at bedtime. So, and Northeast TV, NEK-TV, which is hosting this show, 802-334-0264. Now that little number will be put down there. Call me if you'd like to be on this show. I'm sure you have more to say than I do, and I'd like to hear about it. So please call the station, and they'll put you in touch with me. I tape on Wednesday nights here in Newport, and I'd love to have you. Thank you to Louise Whipple for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. We'll have you back on anytime you want, and to talk about anything about the Nymphomego Trails or whatever else you want to talk about, like hairdressing.
Okay.
And I thank you for watching Life is Good, and Brian McCrae for being our cameraman. And any questions, call the station. Don't call to complain because I don't want to hear that. Anyway, have a wonderful week. And I'll just close off. I think that's good. I ran out of things to say. That's okay. You did a good job. Thanks. Always has to be a lot of